This is Charlie again for Open for Business here in Elkhart County. Behind me, not a lot has changed over 100 years, but here at Bashor Children's Home, so many young people's lives from troubled and neglected backgrounds have been impacted in great ways. And we're going to talk to leaders here about what they've been able to do and what's ahead here at Bashor Children's Home. I'm here now with Sean McCrindle, President and CEO of Bashor Children's Home. And Sean, this is a very special year, celebrating 100 years. Tell us about that.
Over the years, we've had so many services that have changed, but really our core heart has stayed the same. And way back, before 1923, John and Emmeline Bashor had a farm, and there were a lot of kids who had families who couldn't take care of them. It was the Great Depression during that time, and they realized that they had a responsibility to try to help kids. And so they decided they wanted to have their farm be able to become an orphanage someday.
Let people know that are aware of the name, but maybe don't know exactly what you do. What do you do for the young people?
One of the big things we've been focusing on lately is trying to help kids who are out in the community before they need residential care. What we're known for is our residential services where kids stay here 24 hours a day. It's very intensive care, and they get a lot of different services. We're trying to do things with the school systems and with our on-ground school and with some therapy services and some foster care services to try to help kids stay in their community and be successful there. On our residential side, we have a broad array of services. We serve kids in our emergency shelter care. It can be as young as 6 years old, all the way to 18, and sometimes a little bit older, up to 21, depending on the kid. And then we have services to help kids who are struggling with substance abuse issues, with complex trauma issues, and helps some kids really try to get through some of those difficult times. And one of our more recent residential programs are for girls who are survivors of human trafficking. And it's just a really hard situation to be able to help lead those girls through, but boy, it's one of the most rewarding when you see a girl really understand she can have control of her own life and freedom.
What are some of the reasons that what you do works? I'm sure it's the people, it's the system, it's embracing change.
Well, I definitely think some of what's been really impactful here is Bashor's done a good job of trying to pay attention to kids in our community. And especially in our emergency shelter care, as kids come in, we learn a lot from them about what's going on for kids out there. And times are hard. It seems like every year I say times are a little bit harder for kids, but things are very complex. So we really try to pay attention to the kids in the community. And when they say, hey, we have a need, we say we must be there to help. And so the one thing that, really never changes, even back in the orphanage days, is the what you do and how you do it. Those change all the time because you find better ways. But the why you do it never changes. Once you're a Bashor kid, right, we say you're always a Bashor kid. Yeah. We always want to be there to help you and cheer you on to success because we only have underdog stories here. So we have the greatest success stories when they win.
What are some present needs that the viewers can help?
Yeah, one of the big things that we have is we have people who volunteer who come out and help kids. We have people who choose to explore being foster parents, and that's a really wonderful, challenging thing and rewarding thing. And there are lots of kids out there who need foster homes, who their home's not quite ready to go to, or they need a safe place as they're transitioning into adulthood. And so having volunteers, we also always need staff who have a heart for this mission. We have some amazing staff here right now who have a heart for the mission, but we always have more requests than we can fulfill without having more staff. And so we always want to be bringing in staff, especially people who have a heart for this, and hopefully they'll make a career out of this.
Let me ask you this, when you talk about serving the kids, is there a particular area? Is it more Elkhart County or this part of Michiana?
We actually end up serving kids throughout the state of Indiana in our residential care. We have purposely not served kids outside of Indiana. We've had asked to do that, but there is so much need here. And in our residential care, we serve a lot of kids from throughout the state. In our emergency shelter care and our community-based services, primarily it's Elkhart County, St. Joe County, and some of the surrounding counties that we serve. And we really try to prioritize, like for our shelter care, the local counties so those kids can be close to their homes.
Sean, I first had a chance to come here about 20 years ago and tour the grounds, the nature, and I was so impressed. And that's here, and yet there's growth.
Yeah.
Tell folks about the facilities.
In 1996, when I started here, the road beside us was a dirt road. Clearly not a dirt road anymore. And just like that road, Bashor has grown up tremendously. We're blessed to have 160 acres for our campus, so we have plenty of space. And it's allowed us over the last several years to build an entire community resource center, school, and lots of residential buildings. We also have obviously lots of things you would have for kids, lots of playground stuff, basketball things, gymnasiums, stuff like that. And one of the things that's really big for our kids is the pond that we have here. Every year, one kid seems to catch that huge bass,
wow,
and then every kid wants a fishing pole on our campus. It's the greatest thing.
What are some ways that folks can get in touch or follow up?
One of the easiest ways to get a hold of us is just to go to bashor.org, BASHOR.org, and you'll find out all kinds of information on how we've been doing the last 100 years and how the next 100 years is going to be amazing.
Thank you, Sean. So many people make up the family here. I want to hear about our next guest, Gary McCray. Interesting backstory.
Yes, Gary McCray came in one day, tried to volunteer at Bashor, had a very successful business life. And so rather than have him volunteer, we were so excited by him, we decided to try to bring him on staff. He agreed, changed his entire career, and because of that, many, many children, families, and staff are blessed. You're gonna love talking to this guy.
And later in our show, we are going to hear from Gary and how he is helping to make a difference here at Bashor Children's Home.